let's get going with this. Okay. Good evening, everyone, um, and welcome to today's Sipurey Maasios here. Let's, without further ado, talk about um, where it is we're holding. We spoke about the Chacham that told his children that they have to water trees. He passed away. One of his children was a cripple. That cripple was a together person. He wasn't addicted to his victimhood. Put some money aside, started a business, went on the wagon, and we said that he was obsessive enough on this union of continuing and going to where he needed to go. And they went out at night, they went to the forest. In the forest, they were attacked by robbers. And we said the last time that we were here is that the robbers came, the Naaman and the Balagola left him, they ran away. And he stayed on the wagon. We said that this is a union that during Nisoyan, a person loses his moichin. Sometimes he can even lose his amuna. What do you mean lose his amuna? It means that he doesn't get the chiyus and the bitochen. And it's not an easy thing. It's not an easy thing. So we said, well, the thing is about him is v'nisha ala gola, that he stayed on the wagon. I don't know if you guys have the let's see if I have the text of the Sipurey Maasios themselves. Okay, see here my simchiga. So let me try to share with the people that are here. The Maisim Chiga, hold on, I think it gives here possibility, just 1 second, hold on, okay. Hold on. Trying to find a way to share the text here with you. Let's see something. Let's just continue with that next time. I hope that it really would behoove us to have the text of Sipurey Maasios before us, so that we'll know what it is that we're discussing. So when they came and it says, Uvav v'lokhu ateva shel amos. They came, they took the coffer with the money. Before we said that the money and the sipuk, the satisfaction, these are the assets, this is the assets and the advice and the holy gefühl that used to give the cripple, which is each and every one of us, give it the satisfaction, the highest, the feel, shalev esalev olam me'eleh, as we learn in Terech Chafalv. It says the coffer of the money, teva samos, is kedushas adibur. All their geishim of kedusha that the person gathers together, they come and they represent themselves in the tevas adibur, in the word of the dibur. When a person speaks in Torah, speaks in prayer, that's why the dibur, the kedusha, which is the coffer of money, This also took from him. He didn't have the koyach to speak the dibur that shines in the Torah, in the Tefillah. V'shalu oisoi, and they asked him, Lama Tayosha, why are you sitting? This is what the Baldover asks a person. Why are you staying on the wagon? Why are you still holding in Ritzonis B'Kedusha? Why is this? Why are you still holding there? What, you believe that one day you're going to be a true El Chayid? One day you're going to be a tzaddik? You see that from all the Oravanias, all the toil, all the blood, sweat, and tears that you have invested in Yiddishkeit, you didn't get anything out of it. You didn't reach anything. You haven't changed anything. And look, even the coffer of money, the Tevas Amoes, which is the Tevas Atfila, even this, the sweetness and Tefillah, even this you lost. You can't even say one word of Tefillah b'chavana. You can't even learn Torah with Serish Lishmo. So just be a normal person, just be a normal person. What's the big deal? Be a thief like us. Yes, why are you staying on the wagon? He says, I can't walk. In other words, there's a certain point that you're saying, listen, I am a nobody. I'm a nobody. I don't have anything to bring to the table. The only thing I can bring to the table is the fact that I'm on the wagon. We learned in the Kutam Aran, we learned during Torah Chafalef on Thursdays. And the Rebbe says over there that there are two modes of intellect, of acquiring wisdom. One is called Ochar, and one is called Kedem. As David HaMelech says, Ochar v'Kedem tzatani. So Chazal learn about the fact that about Adam v'Chava, that Adam is B'chinas Kedem and Chava is B'chinas Ochar. And there are many different kind of things that are called Ochar v'Kedem. And Rabbeinu talks about the inyan of the Das. There is a mode of acquiring intelligence which is called Ochar. There's a mode of acquiring wisdom which is called Kedem. And we explained that the mode which is called Ochar is the regular, natural way of learning. It could be Divrei Chol, it could be even Divrei Kodesh. Whereas everything that you learn there is a preamble, there's a basis, there's one level, and you build upon this another level of comprehension, and upon this you give another level of comprehension, but basically, and then you arrive at a certain kind of a seichel, a certain kind of it's a natural way of learning. That's the way people learning. There's both the Kodesh and the Chol. And then Rabbeinu says, then there is a whole different kind of learning, which is called Kedem. Rabbeinu calls this Kedem is a limud that comes with Shefa Eloki. Rabbeinu uses languages which talk about the Shefa Eloki, Ruach HaKodesh, Sukkah. You're talking about Anon HaKavod. You're talking about a level of understanding and wisdom, which is totally different. The main difference between these two modes is that the learning of Ochar is a learning, is a sequential learning. One thing leads to another. And if you haven't reached the sechel that you're looking for, seemingly you haven't done anything. You haven't reached it. You didn't get it. But the truth of the matter is that sechel of Pchinas Ocher is very deceiving. First of all, people think that, I used to be a child, and now, then I was a young man, then I became grown up, and then became older, and so forth and so on. And all that has actually advanced me. I have changed. I have developed. I'm better than I used to be. But the truth of the matter is that this is not so. The Rambam says it in his Hakdama, his preface to the Shmoina Prakim. He says it's like a child that in the beginning you want him to learn Torah, and the child doesn't want to learn. Was down to learn. The child wants to have fun. So this says you give him a candy, you give him a little honey, whatever it is. Okay, so in order to get the candy, not to get this, so you learn Torah. It says then he grows up, and candy is no longer enough. So something you learn, I'll get you a bike, or I'll get you fancy clothing, or whatever it is. So that's more sophisticated. And as he goes out, and then the person grows up, then he no longer learns, for a bike or for a candy or whatever it is. Now he's learning to be a lamdan, to become a Talmid Chacham, and there is a mode, to be, or even to be a chassid even. There is a mode of learning where you're not really learning lishma. You're no different than the kid you used to be, except that when you were a kid, you learned it for a candy. It's just that now your candy is just much more sophisticated, but you're still learning for a candy. This is the thing that the Yetzer Hara over here is trying to break you. What is he telling you? Just look at you. You have no chayas from learning. You have no chayas from davening. You cannot even say a single word, with the shtekekus. It's like, let go. No, go out, do business, whatever it is. Just, get yourself into this worldly inyanim. Don't, what is this? The answer is, the Yetzer Hara wants you to learn for candy. He says, you see, you're not getting your candy. You're not getting this geschmack out of learning. You're not getting this geschmack out of davening. You're wasting your time. All this is encapsulated in this mode of learning called achar, backwards. It's achar minshon me'uchar, later. Whatever it is that you finally get, whatever it is you finally understand, is called me'uchar, it's called late. The inyan of kedem, the sechel of kedem that comes to a person, b'shefa eloki, you can learn Pchinas Ochar till the cows come home. You're not going to get it. Rabbeinu says over there that the only way that you can do that, the only thing that you can get, that you can switch on the seichel pchinas shefa eloki, as we learn in Terech Afalev, is by sanctifying the 7 candles, which is your mouth and your nose and your ears and your eyes. So you might say, so what's the difference? It's also a pchinas achar. All you can get, unless you do this kind of achonis. You have to sanctify your mouth, sanctify your nose, your eyes, your ears. Okay, so this is what you need to do before you get to pchinas, to the seichel. How is it different than me learning for a candy and then for something else? The answer is that there is no shaykhs between what you need to do and the seichel that you get. The seichel that you get is a pchinas kedem, means it is something that was always there. Elokim malki mikedem. So, because Baruch is called kadmoino shel olam. He is the kedem. He's the one that there is nothing before it. There's no preeminent before it. Moshe Ma'adav, a king that wrote this extremely profound letter to his people. And it is filled with mysteries and with secrets and with remuzim and clues and tantalizing in Yom, whatever it is. And he gives it to a whole group of chachamim. Each one of the chachamim, they realize that the chachma in the Igeres, in this letter of the Melech, contains an endless wisdom. So they all sit down and work on it, and they break it apart, each one according to his own seichel. Whatever it is they're able to understand out of this Igeres is wonderful, but it's still a function of their own capacity, of their own intelligence. Whatever it is that they learn is still pchinas achar. But then the king has someone he loves, someone who's close to him. So the king tells him, listen, if you will do for me X, Y, Z, I will tell you what it is that I meant in this letter. Whatever it is that person did, this person did for the Melech, and the Melech told him everything, is not a priyem achona. He learned the basics and then he understood the maskana. He did something the Melech wanted him to do that has nothing to do with the wisdom the king gave him as a total gift. What the cripple over here is being robbed of his mind. He's being robbed of his chiyus. He's being robbed of all the aspects of pchinas achar. He's being robbed of all the bechina of learning shalol lishma. He's being robbed of all the temptations for instant gratification. And that's his test. His test is to remain on the wagon. When you don't understand, when you cannot understand the learning, or you understand the learning, it's like chewing rocks with your teeth. And you go to daven, and you don't feel like davening at all. I mean, there's no chai, you don't feel chayes of that. You have great trouble in going to make his way this altogether. And when you're finally zeichet to go and make his brothers, you don't have what to say. You're sitting there before HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and you have no idea why you're there. And there's absolutely nothing that you can come out. And you realize that the reason why you can't even talk about it, well, you have no problem speaking to your friend for 2 hours straight, is because you lack the hargash of the Kadosh Baruch Hu is listening to you. And that's okay. Now, Kadosh Baruch Hu makes it so. This is your nisayon. The nisayon is for you to stay on the wagon, to hold on. This is, listen, I'm a cripple. I don't have anything else. I'm not going to go into this world. I'm not going to start inventing computers or whatever. That's not for me. I understand. I don't understand. I feel chayas. I don't feel chayas. I'm staying on the wagon. I'm staying the course. She said, what good is that? What good is that is that with this, you're entering a whole different realm of wisdom. You are already competing. You're already doing what needs to be done to get a seichel, which is B'chinas Kedem, which is an endless seichel. Obviously, we're talking about millions upon millions of levels, because even in Kedem, there's level above level. The tzaddikim now, one above the other. But it's a different kind of wisdom. It's not a wisdom that is quantifiable with specific. Yeah, level 2, you learn, you have masagas, whatever it is, you can put it down. But what is required from you, is not the ability to put one after the other. This is something that you need in order to find the mitzvahs. You need to learn how to do the mitzvahs. Even the Torah itself is B'chinas Kedem. That's why it says that mitzvah never Torah. The mitzvah itself is the candle. The Torah, the Sechel B'chinas Kedem, is an or. It's a light. Light, we are not able to receive light which is not reflected or refracted with something. The shalhevis has to do with the wick. It has to grab onto the wick. Like the neshama has to grab onto a body. Like the ruach is the shalhevis that is burning on the nefesh. The nefesh is the wick. The body is the ner, is the candle, and the nefesh is the wick, and the ruach and the neshama, this is the different colors of flame that there are in the ner. The main nekuda over here is that you need to look for the kedem. So in order to be able to become the mitzvahs, you have to be able to learn to understand what the halacha is. Okay? So this is the aspect of ochar that exists in kedem. Obviously, people learn Torah, and they don't mean to learn. They don't learn Torah lishmo. Chazal said, "La'olam yilmad odom shelo lishmo, shemitoch shelo lishmo ba lishmo." And what does it mean? It means that, listen, it's a natural thing for people to try to learn for a candy, some kind of candy. Let me enjoy this. Let me people give me cover or whatever it is that I can get out of it. You're only human, right? But the point is that here and there you have a nekudas of learning lishma. So within the ochar there is a bchina of kedem. In the same way, within the kedem, to try to reach that light which is infinite, which is the Kadosh Baruch Hu himself, which is the Atika Kadisha that we learn in Terech Hafalef. The Sosim, the Tomir of the Sosim, it's totally concealed, it's totally beyond, it's unfathomable. The kasha was, how do you bring it into this world? That was the kasha that the Torah is predicated on. Torah Chafalef. The answer is that you need to do the work in the trenches here, the trenches in here in this world. And the war in the trenches requires that you're standing in a test where the robbers, which is the Yetzer Hara, and all his armies fall upon you, and they take the moichin away from you. It's one of those tests that you have to pass. Don't forget, the Kadosh Baruch Hu is a melech, right? Moshe told us a wonderful story about when he lived in Lakewood, that he had an acquaintance that was a friend of his. I don't remember exactly who. Moshe Alas, he told us that his friend of his, whatever it is, befriended a ger who was an African prince, and his father was a melech. So one day, the father came to visit him, and the friend made a bar mitzvah for his son. And the guy asked him if he could bring his father to the bar mitzvah celebration. He said, of course. And he came, and the father enjoyed it very much. Then he gave him over an envelope. In the envelope, there was a check for $10,000. About the 80s of last century, $10,000. That's the time where, for bar mitzvah, you gave chai dollars, or you gave $36. If you were better off, you gave $50. If you're a wealthy person, you gave $100. $10,000. The father was all discombobulated. What do you do with the check of $10,000 for bar mitzvah? Maybe it was a mistake. So you went to the prince and he told him, listen, your father gave me a check of $10,000. Is he aware this is a bar mitzvah? Maybe he meant it, didn't mean. So the prince told him, you don't understand. My father is not a tycoon. He's not a wealthy person. He's not a rich person. He's a king. A tycoon will not pay $100 for something that is worth $1. In fact, the way he became a tycoon is by paying 50 cents for everything which is worth $1. He will definitely not pay $100 for that. He says a melech will not give you a gift at less than $10,000 because it's not his covet to give you less. It has nothing to do with you. For him, it's a busha to give you less than $10,000. It has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with whether this is an appropriate gift for bar mitzvah or not. It's a melech. A melech is a different kind of thing altogether. The melech wants your ne'emanus. He wants your faithfulness. He wants your mysterious nefesh. This last week's parsha. Am Yisrael went in the midbar, because Baruch Hu says, "Daber b'nei Yisrael, ma titzaka, daber b'nei Yisrael yisau." The Zohar Kodesh says, "Batika tal yemilsa." What are you talking? Why are you screaming to me? It has to do with atika. It has to do with that level of Elokus that doesn't even get into this world, that cannot get into this world, because per definition it is infinite. This world, as big as you will, whatever you want to make it, it's bichlal, there's no relations between the two. You can say even trying to empty the ocean 1 teaspoon at a time is also not a good enough of a mashal. You're trying to take something which has no dimension at all. Doesn't begin and doesn't end. And you want to put it into this world. The only way that it can be is a gift. think the Tanya speaks about that. He says that all the upper olimus, they come into being through ishtalshalos. So it's a trickle down where things become more and more congealed as they manifest themselves. Gashmias does not happen through ishtalshalos. There is no way to progressively, thicken and congeal Ein Sof until it becomes a finite Gashmis. There's no way. It has to be what they call, I think the Tanya uses the lotion of dilug, of jumping. It cannot be a progression, but it's a jump from everything to something, from nothing to something. That's it. There's no other way to do it. Because Baruch Hu tells Moshe Rabbeinu, you want to be saved here. There's a big din on Am Yisrael. You want to enter this Tavodas Hashem. You want to enter into the dare that leads to Kabbalah Satira. You have to get through a stage where you're not screaming to the Melech. You're not even talking to the Melech. You don't have the words anymore. Am Yisrael don't have any options. What do you mean? Going to the sea, I'm going to drown. I'm going to look at the Egyptians, I'm going to be killed. There's no in between. There's no options. It's not like somebody that doesn't have prognosis. Just get up and go out and work. What are you screaming? No, there's not. There is no answer. There is no option. Baruch Hu says, right now, if it were dependent on the level of Zer Anpin, the level of judgment, the level of what is right and what is wrong, you don't have the schus to be saved. That's what the Orach Chaim is asking of this particular pasuk. He asks, "Mati tzaka ledaber bnei Yisrael v'Yisau." What are you crying out to me? Talk to the Eden and let them go fight weiter. Orach Chaim says, "What do you mean?" What the Kadosh Baruch Hu says, "Mati tzaka elai." Only what am I supposed to do? And Mati tzaka elai, who am I supposed to call to? So the Chaim says that Am Yisrael needed this chos here of Mesiras Nefesh to jump into Yam Suf. Then they'll get saved. What does it mean? This is what I told you with the story about the check that Rabbi Moshe Ellis told us. There is a certain level of Pchinas Ochar where you call out to Kodesh Baruch Hu, and after a while, he will listen to you or not. It all depends what your schos is. But if you trust the Kodesh Baruch Hu, if you are moisa nefesh for a Kodesh Baruch Hu, it doesn't befit the Kodesh Baruch Hu not to help you. It has nothing to do with you anymore. You get the $10,000 check. You get the Yeshua not because you deserve it. It's because it doesn't befit the covet of the Melech not to deliver a person who trusts him. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work that way. It's not about you anymore. It's about Tika Tali Milson. It's that sechel that's called kedem. Now it's talking about kedem. Here, what is necessary from you is Mesiras Nefesh. Is trusting HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I don't have any chayas in davening. I don't have the ability to concentrate more than 5 or 10 minutes at a time. I hardly understand the words of the book, and I'm just waiting to get it over with. And I'm raked with tivus and with craziness and whatever it is that you want. If you're looking for a candy, that's what the Yetzer Hara is trying to get you. Lo Shalal Lishma. Become a rabbi or a Thai, be a Rosh Kollel, whatever. learn and if it doesn't work out, go out to work, make a career. It's shalom lishma. To stay like this, that you don't have any chayes from it, is just Mesiras Nefesh. Oh, this is when you're going for the kedem. You're going for the Atiku Kadisha. You're looking for Kadosh Baruch Hu himself. The only way to get there is through endless kisufim. It's interesting that when Rabbeinu told the Nosson about the kasha the question that they asked in the upper worlds, that how that was the basis for Terech HaFalav. Somebody came to Rabbeinu and said, "Gib Geld of Licht, give money for candles." So Rabbeinu told Reb Nosson, this is also a teretz on that kasha. So once we learn the teretz, it's easier to figure out what it is that Rabbeinu alluded to. Kesef, Geld, Kesef is kisufim, is urging, is longing. Give longing for the candles. Shiva Saneris, as the Torah says. But these are the kelim that you get, the sechel pchinas kedem. You're looking for Kodesh Baruch Hu himself, and the only way to put the Ein Sof, the infinity, into this world is through kisufin, is with that you're totally tunnel visioned to yearn for Kodesh Baruch Hu. You're not looking for candies. You're not looking for any of the things around. You're looking for Kodesh Baruch Hu himself. And the test usually comes when all the tainug, all the pleasures along the way of acquiring the chokhmah, the learning, the davening, being a yid, or whatever it is taken away from you. Rabbeinu says, there's a sikh, Rabbeinu says, because Baruch Hu tells a person, you want me to show you my treasures, to give you my treasures. He says, first of all, you need to prove to me that you're trustworthy. That if things, with all kinds of not calamities, but when trouble, chas v'chalila, will befall you, that you won't leave me. You have to prove yourself that you are faithful. That's why the Melech wants you to do an act of faithfulness, and then he gives you his daughter as a present. The daughter is the Shekhinah. You can even find it with a lot of legends that have to do, the Goyish legends. Whoever it is going to go up to a mountain of glass. The princess is sitting on top of the mountain, whatever. These are all meisim that they took from the Kedusha, and then they switched it over, with their inyanim. So the Rabbeinu says that in the meises of the Goyim, there's a lot of mitzvahs the Kedusha that were lost, but they're, really like messing them all up. They don't tell it properly and so forth and so on. They exchange children. There's a version of Goyish version and so forth and so on. But right now, when we're talking about when the Yetzer Hara is coming to the cripple and tell him, come on, give it up. You don't have anything left. You don't even have the pleasure of crying to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, because your heart is like stone. You don't feel anything. Nevertheless, this is what I do. That's my thing. I am the man of the Melech. I belong to the Melech. Eved Avraham Anochi. I am the slave of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. If he wants to give me parnos, I'll give me parnos. If he wants to withhold it, he will hold it. If he wants to give me chayas, he'll give me chayas. If he wants to withhold it, he will hold it. What will I do? I will cry out and I'll wait. The reason why most Yidden don't reach the Sechel Prinas Kedem is because they succumb to the temptation of a candy, of one form to another, one form or another. Baruch Hashem, we have the tzaddik. Baruch Hashem, we have the koyach of the tzaddik. The most important lesson of Avodas Hashem is hold on. I don't require any candies along the way. And if I do, come to Kodesh Baruch Hu says, I require a candy because I can't take it without any candies whatsoever. I'm not holding that madrega, so just do me a favor in the meantime. It's not because that's what I want. It's just along the way, that's what I know. Okay, you'll get a candy. No problem. But keep it in perspective. Understand what this game is about. What this thing is all about. You are looking to get the seichel with Prinas Kedem. The entire world does not come up even like a dot compared to a spark of that seichel, because that seichel is HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself. The only way that you can get it inside your body in this world is with loyalty. All the stories with the kings giving their daughters to, it's stories of loyalty. Go through these things for me and you get it for free. B'ezrat Hashem, we will, we'll stop here. B'ezrat Hashem, on Thursday, we will get back to Likutei Moharan Torah Chaf Aleph, where we'll continue, B'ezrat Hashem, and get deeper into this particular inyan. And Hashem should help us, B'ezrat Hashem, to be strong, to be loyal, to steadfast. And it's very important that we say that particular nakuda, because when the candy is being taken away from us, if we just remember that it's a candy, it's a lot easier to hold on and not to get, dispirited. Because we're so wrapped up in it that when it happens, when the sun happens, we wrap the kasha with the teretz together, and we say, listen, since I don't get it satisfied, whatever it is, let's just give the whole thing up. No. So the main value of this particular shir, which B'ezrat Hashem we need to go and speak to Kodesh Baruch Hu about after this shir, is I may have a need for gratification. But that's not because what I'm doing is for the gratification. It's because I'm just a human being and I need to be gratified, because otherwise there's a limit to how much I can hold. But this is what it's about. So I'll hold on a little bit longer. Hold on a little bit longer. Hold it longer. Let's go ahead and meet. I'm asking. Will also help me. Thank you so much for being with me tonight.